Good morning and happy Tuesday. Most of the time, I have my videos on Fridays, but I came this morning because I wanted to make a video today. I believe that someone needs a word of encouragement, well, all of us in this day and time, because people are going through a lot and then they don't understand as to why they're going through. Now, some things we go through could be because God is trying to prune us and refine us. Other times we're going through things that don't feel good is out of disobedience. So I just wanted to relay that and to let you know that there is life after walking the path of disobedience. So I just want to encourage someone today with that. I know firsthand because I was not always excuse me, one who was walking 110% the straight and narrow with the Lord. I've had my backslidden states in plural. Um, I wasn't too much of a rebel um, as a child, I would say, but I was headstrong. And what I mean by headstrong is, of course, my parents, I did listen to my parents, but I had my own, mindset. Probably all the more reason why I ended up on my own at 16, going to Job Corps, leaving there, turned 18, went home a little bit, and then after that, got gone. And then I was out on my own. I've been out of the house since I'll be 43 this year. So technically, um, to so I've been out of the house for almost 27 years. So with that being said, I have a different mindset than some other people might have. So I feel like, hey, I'm out of the house. I'm doing my, own thing, going to school, doing this, taking care of myself. Yeah, to me at 16, I was grown. Now, 16-year-olds who live at the house, you still live with your mom or whatever, no, you're not grown. You are not grown until you become of age and even maturity. Even some people who are in their 30s and 40s aren't mentally grown because they're still doing childish things. But I do want to say, with that being said, I want to say, regardless of your disobedience, God can forgive you. Regardless of your disobedience, He could restore you. And in the midst of your disobedience, He could snatch you out of it, prune you, and refine you. Because I know in the state of my life, I was in my 30s. Let me see, 2013, June of 2013. And I always loved the Lord, but I allow things or say the lust of the flesh to deter me from him. Or, my mindset, lust of the flesh, men, whatever. So, with that being said, in June of 2013, yeah, um, I ended up split with this dude, and I could understand why. Like, man, what happened or whatever. And we were getting along, and then suddenly we weren't, and then we parted company. So he started acting funny. So I'm like, okay, well, forget it. And I thought it was me. No, it wasn't me. It was the idea that God, the Lord, got tired of me and whatever else I was doing in the way I was living my life because He had already told me to cut this gentleman off. Because I was laying in my bed at my house that I used to live in before I relocated to Nevada. And I was laying down one night, not one morning, and I heard the Lord say, cut it off right now. And I'm just like, is He talking to me? Because I know good and well that I'm just like, well, I didn't listen. And with me not listening, I got hurt behind it. I mean, the hurt didn't last too long, but I got hurt by it. Next thing I know, I split up with them. And God don't play with you. He don't play with you. And I'm sitting up here one night in my house on the couch bawling like a baby. Oh Lord, I'm sorry. Oh this and that, blah blah blah, and all that kind of different stuff. I was just like very with a repentant heart, like crying to him because I know I had disappointed him. Not in to me. I mean, it started off not being intentionally disappointing the Lord, but I know I disappointed him because I didn't listen to what he said. So since I didn't listen to what he said, then I reaped the consequences of that. Because if I had cut it off, then I would have felt better about it. But since he had to step in and intervene and had that person shun me, then it hurt all the more. I felt like I was being rejected. Well, in a sense, yeah, I was. But in another sense, I was being redirected. So whatever that situationship was redirected me to where God wanted me to be, where he called me to be. And this was, June of 2013. So I was about to be 33 August 23rd. That's when I turned 33. I find that interesting because at 33 is where I pretty much, of course, I was like encouraging people and stuff like that, but it's where all the more things start to turning. The Lord using me, even though I didn't want to be used. I didn't really want to be bothered with people. I didn't. Not really, because people don't listen. You tell them something, oh yeah, da da da, and then they turn around and it's like, okay, didn't I say that was not what the word says? But hey, people are hard headed. People learn, and sometimes take several journeys before they get to the right path. Um, with that being said, my favorite scripture is trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your understanding and always acknowledge him. He shall direct your path. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. And I just instill that verse into my kids. And I was talking to one of my daughters who, excuse me, is trying to still yet find her way. And she knows the right way to go, but she thinks like, some people think like, hey, this is not going right over here, then God must not be there. I mean, I've been through some stuff. Like, even on these jobs, like I told her, I was coming into a job making, it was a decent pay. It wasn't all that. And then they bumped the increase to $1. Then they bumped it up again because we were handling new clients. Then I went to another department and they bumped it up again, $2 extra. Well, they downsized, and guess what happened with me? I ended up back in my old department making $2 less. In which I didn't think that was fair, but I didn't turn my heart away from God. I didn't say, oh Lord, just mad about it, So this happened, and then I decided to take a leap of faith and apply for another position, which that position gave me not only the extra $2 back, but more than what I was making before. And I asked Lord, like, Lord, just please put me back where I was. And if you want, very much I said, if you want to bless me with more, that would be great too. But if you just take me back where I was in the other department, I will be grateful. That's what I told him. And he exceeded, my expectations. And I just wanted to let you know, you all, he will exceed your expectations. I don't care what the devil says. I don't care what your family says. I don't care what your husband, wife says, because some husbands and wives can lead the door to the enemy to be used. The enemy can use your spouse. Just in case you didn't know, the enemy can use your husband, your wife, your boyfriend, your girlfriend. He can use anybody who has a little bit of a door open to him. He can. So when people can't, God can. And our All we have is God. If we're believers, all we have is God. All we have is our faith. We have to trust in Him regardless of things, on how things look. We do. I mean, there's no way around it. We must trust God. If we're not going to trust God, then what is the point of saying I believe in God, but you don't trust Him? But you trust your husband or your wife, but you don't trust God. Just because you can see your husband and wife, you don't trust God because you can't see Him. But He's there. He wakes you up in every morning. Uh, if it's a God ordained spouse, He bless you with that spouse. He bless you with that wife and husband, or that fiance that you're going to marry. So you need to think about that as well before you doubt God. Don't doubt God, doubt your doubt. Don't doubt God, but doubt your doubt. In other words, never doubt God, but doubt your way of thinking towards God and how He will move. So if it's in negativity, and I'm not sure what is coming across my little screen, then